U.S. defense official said Wednesday that Russian ground forces appear to be digging in and setting up defensive positions between 15 to 20 kilometers outside of Kyiv as they continue to make little to no progress moving towards the city's center. We're also been getting reports that towards the north of Kyiv, there's a significant amount of resistance that's been mounted by the Ukrainians. In fact, the British Defense Ministry has said that there is a very realistic possibility that Russian troops are being encircled north of Kyiv. And even as this happens, remember that NATO leaders will be approving major increase in its forces in Eastern Europe at an emergency session of the NATO that takes place today. We have heard the fact that the Ukrainian president will also be addressing the NATO summit through video conferencing. But these are visuals that continue to come in from various parts of Ukraine where we see residential areas completely destroyed, bombed to the ground. And here's some more news in brief. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on French multinationals based in Russia to stop indirectly supporting the war against Ukraine by leaving Russia. In a 20-minute virtual speech to the French Parliament, the wartime leader checked several French companies such as the car maker Renault, the supermarket chain Auchan, and home improvement giant Leroy Merlin. A senior Russian diplomat is pushing to justify his country's attack on civilians in neighboring Ukraine. Russian forces have launched horrific attacks on civilian targets in Ukraine, hitting them with missiles, rockets, shells and airstrikes during their weeks-long invasion of the country. The former Russian oligarch Mikhail Khodorkovsky demanded that the airspace over Ukraine be closed by the West in an interview with German television. The former chairman of the oil company Yukos also called Putin a bandit who would only be spurred on by the West's restraint. The European Union has announced a package of measures to aid its member states in helping millions of people who are fleeing Russia's war in Ukraine to access education, healthcare, accommodation and work. European Commissioner of Home Affairs Ila Johansson has said that it also aims to protect vulnerable refugees, particularly women and unaccompanied children, from exploitation. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has announced the EU's plans to significantly reduce gas imports from Russia. Von der Leyen has said that she will meet with US President Joe Biden on Thursday to discuss the possibility to secure extra deliveries of liquefied natural gas from the US for the 27-nation bloc.
Це ви можете було пряме попадання. Очевидно, нещодавно. Трактор також горить. Ви розумієте, так?
And these are pictures of the aftermath of the destruction that we see in Chernihiv, which has been released by the governor of the mayor, I beg your pardon, of Chernihiv. There have been reports that seem to suggest that the Russian offensive in Chernihiv has been extremely severe. Visuals like this one of smoke bellowing out of places that have been bombed, residential areas completely destroyed have been coming in. Chernihiv is one of the areas where the Russian assault is now focusing on. There were reports earlier yesterday of the only bridge that connects Chernihiv being to the other parts of the country being destroyed by the Russians. It was a major humanitarian corridor for people to get out. The city right now, of course, is completely cut off, and even necessities of life have become impossible to get. Now, as Russia continues to intensify its offensive against Ukraine, the refugee crisis in Ukraine has been spiraling out of control. And watch how Ukrainians continue to cross the border into Poland.